I've lived in Ecuador for about 2 weeks now, and there are 4 unique facets of Ecuadorian culture that I've experienced and adopted that have improved my daily living. First, the eating schedule. Second, the weather. Third, the importance of family and friends. And fourth, the hobbies and activities here. So I usually wake up around 8:30 a.m. Spend about 30 minutes going through my morning routine of getting some sunshine on the balcony, cleaning my room, taking a cold shower, and brushing my teeth. And that's when the first culture shock hit me: breakfast. Back in the States, I usually didn't eat breakfast. I tried fasting in the mornings, and at most, I'd eat a granola bar or something on the way to work. And I think a light breakfast is pretty common in the States. But in Ecuador, breakfast is a big deal. Everybody here loves breakfast. And I think it's partially because the fruit and coffee here is super good, which is exactly what my host prepares for me every morning. I couldn't say no to a big fruit bowl every morning. And while I never really drank coffee, the coffee here is so good, I started drinking a small cup every morning too, both of which are healthy and energizes me for the day. Back in the States, I would typically start my workday right away, especially in the winter and colder parts of fall when I would not want to go outside. But here, the weather is always nice because Ecuador is on the equator. It's usually 65 degrees Fahrenheit in the mornings, and there are basically no seasons. The weather can be sporadic. It could be sunny in the morning, windy in the afternoon, and rainy at night. But generally, it's always warm out. And because of that, exercising here is more convenient, more enjoyable, and more common. For me, it makes it easy to get some sun, stretch, and meditate in the mornings on our balcony, which is an awesome new habit I've picked up since moving here. After about 30 minutes of stretching and meditating, I would start my workday. Today, I focused on editing a new video I had on the queue. Oh, today, I also had my weekly Spanish lesson with my friend Julia. I've realized that while learning the language through daily exposure can work, having a teacher to help solidify and sharpen what you learn every day is super helpful. And it's cool because we talk about Ecuadorian culture, history, and politics. Then I came back and did some more work until 2:30. Yes. You're probably wondering the same thing I am. When is lunch? The idea is to have a big late lunch so you can eat a relatively light dinner, which is healthy because it gives your stomach time to digest before sleeping. The first few days, I would get so hungry waiting for lunch, but I've adapted to the new eating schedule now, and I sleep a lot better with a smaller dinner. And lunch takes a long time, usually an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, because a big part of Ecuadorian culture is spending time with loved ones. You'll rarely see people working while eating or rushing to finish their Chipotle bowl so they can get back to work. People want to spend time chatting and enjoying their food and company. The culture has made me eat more slowly, which is healthy, and it's also kind of forced me to have more conversations. It helps me develop intimacy and stronger relationships, like with my host. After lunch, I'll work for the rest of the afternoon until sunset and then grab a small bite for dinner. In the evenings, I'll typically choose between 3 different activities: soccer, climbing, and drinks. Soccer, or Futbol, is the most popular sport in Ecuador by far, and it's structured a bit differently here too. There are no high school or college teams, only adult club teams. So one of my friends here is a freshman in college, but plays soccer for a semi-pro club team called Los Estudiantes de La Plata in a nearby town called Tumbaco. And I joined them for a few practices and actually ended up joining the team. I've noticed the style of play is also a bit different too. It's more fast-paced, instinctual, and aggressive, whereas my experience playing in the States is more methodical, patient, and systematic. Ecuador can be thought of as 3 distinct regions: the coast, the mountains, and the Amazon. The coast along the western shoreline is known for its amazing beaches and for the Galapagos Islands. The Amazon is known for the rainforest and its biodiversity. And the mountains is where I live, famous for volcanoes like Cotopaxi, Cayambe, and Chimborazo. My friends here are big climbers and hikers, so I got into it too. And so we go to the climbing gym about twice a week. Today, we took an assessment test so we can track our progress as we train. This is our trainer, Chris. He's a beast. Even though the mountain region of Ecuador is world famous, the community for mountaineering and climbing is actually kind of small. I've heard that people here don't always appreciate the beautiful mountains and volcanoes that they have. And like I said before, Ecuadorian culture really values time spent with family and friends. So it's common to have a get together with friends at a brewery or bar once a week. The more typical routine, at least for my age in New York City, from what I've experienced, is to work a little later, go to the gym by yourself, and then wind down for the night. I'll get back around 8 or 9, wash up, do a little more work, play some guitar, do some reading, and then call it a day. Life here is different. The culture is different, but that doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just different. And it's up to you and I to figure out which differences we want to keep in our lives and which we want to simply acknowledge. And that's something I'm still learning every day here in Cumbaya, Ecuador.